Hey there, the Avengers fans and collectors. Welcome to my very first The Avengers action figure review. For this first review, it will be on the concept series figure number 6, and it is Sword Spike Thor. A pretty cool and interesting figure nonetheless, and let's just review the figure and the packaging. First and foremost, you have up here the Avengers logo, with nice picture of Captain America, Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man. Okay. If you zoom in, you can see nicely all the accessories that the action figure comes with. He has the Battle Spike launcher here, the hammer, and that's basically about it. Now you have this picture here which is kind of inaccurate because you can see him without the helmet and stuff. I'm not sure if that's a variant that's coming out in the future or a mistake that Hasbro just made, but I guess we'll find out in the future. Okay. Now on the left hand side you'll have the number of the figure so you can tell which one it is. Okay. As for the back, you have a nice big shot of the figure right here, and pictures of the other figures in the wave. You have Hawkeye, Heavy Artillery Iron Man, and Super Shield Captain America. And then down underneath here you'll have the information about the character. Then you can visit hasbro.com/Avengers. All this other stuff. So that's basically it for the packaging. Now on to the figure itself. As you can see here, he is a really cool action figure. There are some minor details which we will get to that right now that you may have doubts of picking up this figure. First of all, the articulation. He has a ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders and elbows, no swivel wrist, no swivel waist, ball hinged hips, ball hinged knees, and no articulation on the ankles. So it's very unfortunate that Hasbro is really cutting back on the articulation, and yet they're raising the prices on their figures. These action figures are $8.96. So you might really have to think about your money and see if it's worth spending that much money on a figure that's barely articulated, and you can't get them in many poses as you might like to. But if you like to display him and just having an interesting pose like this one right now, then I guess he's well worth your money. Okay, now detailed wise, this figure looks really cool and it looks spot on to Chris Hemsworth in many ways. I think the paint job on the figure is really nice. You know, it's between a gray and silver kind of color, but it looks really nice overall. The paint job on the chest plate and all that is really more accurate, as you can see here. It's all really well detailed. It's more darker colors than the previous Thor figures that have been released before. I mean, it can't get any better than what it is right now, as you can see. The cape is not removable, it is glued on. I mean, you could take it off if you pull hard enough, but I wouldn't recommend that. Facial sculpt, let's get a even closer look at that. Looks really nice. The helmet doesn't look as fat as previous Thors have looked. It's perfectly well fit on his head. So detail wise, this figure looks fantastic. Accessories that he comes with, obviously he includes his trusty hammer. Nothing big or special, probably a little bit different from previous Thor hammers when it comes to paint job and all that stuff, but other than that there's nothing different from the hammer. Okay. He also includes this battle spike here. Really nicely well painted and detailed. The pushing button's up here, so you just push the button and it fires out. Not the best thing, you know, it's more play feature for children, but for collectors it's not that big of a deal at all. I personally don't like it, and I don't need it at all. I'm perfectly fine with Thor's hammer. So when it comes to accessories, it's not that big of a deal, but I guess it's well worth your money. I want to show you guys a quick comparison with last year's Thor, which is Hammer Smash Thor. He was from Wave, I think Wave 2 or Wave 3, Wave 2 of the Thor the Mighty Avenger line of figures. You may not be able to tell too much, but let's get a close-up here. Okay. Paint jobs on the helmet is really different. This is more of a silver color and this is more of a gray color. I guess the movie version, which is this one right here, is a little bit more accurate when it comes to paint job on the helmet, because in the movie it was really silver. But as you can see, it really sticks out as opposed to this one. This one's more, the helmet's more tighter on his face and all that stuff. Again, the facial sculpt is very similar. It's not that big of a difference, but this one looks a little bit more like Chris Hemsworth as opposed to this one right here. Paint job on the armor, you can't really tell as much maybe on camera, but in person you can see that this is a darker color as opposed to this. This is all light. Not as silvery looking and as blue as opposed to this one right here and all that stuff. But there aren't that many differences. So you might want to think about which Thor you prefer getting, because if you like more articulated one and you want him with his trademark helmet, then you might want to go with this one because this has better articulation. But if you want more accurate to the actor and you want to put him in the Avengers line or something like that, then you may want to go with this one. I personally think I would rather go with this one when it comes to articulation and all that stuff, because I really like to get my figures in really cool poses and things like that. But this one I like it a lot more as well, so I'm really glad I have both of them in my collection and stuff like that. So this is basically it. This is my review on Sword Spike Thor. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Please stick around because I will be reviewing 2 more Avenger figures coming up next, okay? Please comment, subscribe, follow me on my Facebook. And until next time, assemble we find.